Welcome to episode 190. Today we are flowing on from last week's episode around lymphatic drainage, where we spoke to Chelsey Jean Lymphatics, Chelsey from Chelsey Jean Lymphatics, all around our lymph systems and how to drain it correctly and all the process to it. So if you have not listened to last week, you have to go back and listen to that first, or else this episode is actually not going to make a lot of sense to you. So please go back, stop where you are right now, go and listen to last week, and then come back and flow on, because we literally dive straight into the conversation as a flow on from last week's episode. We really hope you enjoy.
So I think you touched on it before, that when we have an injury, and let's say we roll our ankle, sprain our ankle, and then we get swelling around that ankle, we could be helping to drain that, like just by giving it some gentle sort of massage, and that would move it through the body as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the last thing I would do, I know it's controversial, but the last thing I would do would be to ice it. I'm an anti-icer when it comes to injury. I'm happy for you to ice it for pain, but as soon as we're applying cold, we're going to slow down the blood process. We're going to slow down the lymph process. So that means we're not going to be getting that injury as fast as we can and getting rid of everything that's broken, or those damaged cells or the debris, not getting rid of all of that. And then we're not bringing everything into repair. So I'm a big one on compression. So to strap that area and to raise it. And all of the facts came out nearly 20 years ago about do not ice, but my son plays basketball, and the people at the Meadows, the medics who look after the basketball, he's on the same pages as me. And it's like when the mums and the managers come up and say, ice, we're both like, no. But, it takes 17 years for information to get to GP level and get to the public sort of level from when it's discovered. 17 years.
Oh, wow.
I believe it.
Okay. Yeah, I believe it too.
That does not actually shock me, which is really sad. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question. So Joe was training for a half Ironman last year.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Our husbands were doing it as well. And there came with it, came a lot of stress on the body. Let's just call it that. So and I kept saying, Joe, you should be dry brushing. Joe, you should be dry brushing. Of course, the older sister just got ignored. Like pretty much gave me the finger.
Time, Trace. I didn't have time.
She didn't have time. I just got the finger, talked to the hand. So I'm just going to say, I told you so.
Because how would something so easy be beneficial, right? If you're the type of person you're running, you're hardcore, I've got to put all of this effort in. How can something be so easy of just brushing, stimulating your body in the correct way, give you massive benefits? And I can tell you girls that it still blows my mind every day of the different outcomes that our clients tell us of what's changed in their life.
It makes a lot of sense, like the way you've explained it. And I mean, you always need to hear it from someone else. So Trace probably pretty much said a lot of the same things, but it does make a lot of sense. And as a result, I have now developed some really bad injuries, and, that's been a lot of stress mentally on my head and body, because it was just debilitating to be so fit, to then have really bad injuries, to then be not fit, to then start putting on weight. And, it's just been this awful little spiral down, and I'm coming back out now. But it just makes so much sense of, well, should have done that.
Well, you only know what you know, and you are so headstrong of this is what I'm doing and I'm going to achieve it. No, I'm going to achieve it, which is fantastic. But we just need to add a little bit of that listening to your body in at the same time. And I asked the question, what is your body trying to tell you? And maybe the only way that you are going to get the message is for it to break you down a little bit and stop you physically for you to then go, oh, okay, now I get that. And that's all okay, because we all learn all different ways. But so now it's like, okay, what's my body trying to tell me today? And, that's a big thing. I love Louise Hay and how every emotion is going to show up as something physical in your body. And then when we get that, we go, oh, okay, that's the message that I'm getting, because, you know, we are quite spiritual beings, and to be able to, you know, to listen to those messages too, is when we get that real connection with our body. Same with food. You know, we do a hair test in clinic. We do 500 of them a year, where we take a little bit of hair and send it to the lab, and we test it against 600 different food items, and it tells you exactly what resonates with you and what doesn't. If we were in touch with our system, we wouldn't have to do that test. We would know what works and what doesn't for us. But because we aren't there yet, a lot of us aren't there yet, that's why we do this testing. It's like, okay, here's the results for you straight away. And as soon as you start following that, a lot of your ailments, like the weight drops away, the soreness drops away. And it can be food like strawberries and beans and broccoli and all this. As a naturopath, because I'm a naturopath as well, as a naturopath, I'd tell you to make a soup with all of that in it, right? Because it's all wonderful earth food. But if it doesn't resonate, like some people are allergic to grass, it's not the grass's fault. There's something in you that can't handle that food or can't handle that thing. And so that's why we test now so we get better connection. And then we listen to our bodies more.
Yeah. I'm such a true believer in, like, what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa.
Yes.
And we are also individual. And I also believe there is a lesson in everything. And it's taken me a long time to think, well, what is the lesson in this half Ironman? Because I didn't complete it due to a pinched nerve in my back from the injuries that I had. And I'm like, what is the lesson? It's only really been the last couple of weeks where I've realized I should have listened to my body more. And that is the lesson that I've taken out of it, is to listen to yourself, because your body is screaming out at you. You just don't listen.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what you've just said, is like, our body actually knows, but we just don't listen to it. So having the data, having the piece of paper from the test is generally what people need.
Yes. Yeah. And you've just given me goosebumps, right? You've just given me goosebumps, because that's what I love to teach. Is like, I want people to catch themselves here when the body starts knocking just a little bit. I want them to catch themselves, not wait until it's like, no, you know, I'm a strong woman. I've got big shoulders. I'm tough. I can do this. That's not going to stop me. And then you just lading yourself on with more burden and more burden. But no, I'm not going to let that stop me. Instead of going and getting the message and going, okay, well, maybe there's another way.
Yeah.
There's another way. There's an easier way for this to happen. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't start changing to healthy habits until we've got a terrible diagnosis, or we've put on a way too much weight. And, you know, or we had a scare in the family, and we wait now, you know, we're invincible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the message that I want to give too.
Yeah. Awesome.
I just have one last question just to finish it off, because I know we're out of time.
I've got another one too when you're...
Okay.
I've got all the time. Yeah, so you go.
Okay. I am heading into perimenopause, or in perimenopause, and heading into that phase of life.
Yes.
And I've got kids that are 20 and 22 as we record this. So how do I, as someone in my phase of life, like, I am an advocate for dry brushing. I do it most days. I won't say I'm perfect. But I now, you know, back on the train, back on the brushing. But how do we, so my kids look at me and think, oh, that's just for you, mum. Like, that's just for you because you're at that age, right? But how do I convince others, I guess? Like, how do we get, like, our mum is another really great example of someone who should be dry brushing. And I've spoken to her about it. Bit like Joe, got closed down, got closed off. So what's your advice for us to try and convince a family member, if we've listened to this, because there could be someone else listening to this, it's like, my husband needs to be doing this, my mum needs, my child, whatever it is.
So like we just said, like people are going to hear things when they need to, and being like doing what you're doing being an example is the best way. So doing you, you can't make anybody do anything.
I know,
okay,
unfortunately.
you can't, but you can have something else playing in the background, or there has to be a different way that is going to get people to that same point. Just because you get it, and it's like, oh, okay, yes, I get it. Some people do need to go through the checkpoints and learn the lessons to get there. So hearing it from somebody else is one thing. It's like, oh, okay, kids, well, see, when your kids would have been like fed quite well all throughout their lives. So as all these toxins accumulate and they move their body and they do all of the right things, it's not until they're going to go out on their own where they have to, cook for themselves. And so then they might get takeout a lot more, and like all the different other substances and alcohol and all those things get added. Then they're going to start to go downhill. But that normally takes 5 to 10 years for that downhill to start. And then to be able to catch that, because that's when we hit then our 40s, where that 10% change from when we're 20s, happens with the hormones and all of the different things. So I think just being you, doing your own thing. Please don't carry the burden of others in your bowl, in your light, because that's going to stop you from shining even brighter. Everyone has their own lessons and their own time and their own space to learn everything, and you're not responsible for that. So yeah, you got to take away that responsibility, but and live live your truth and be that shine as bright as you can. And when they're feeling starting to dip, they'll see you as this shiny beacon. It's like, oh, okay, well, what's mum doing? Or what did she say about that? Like my son is 16 and he's been up and down and up and down through the foods and through the, to the school and this and that and all those different things. And there is no way in the world that I thought that he would be, working for me now and taking on, like I've given him our Circulate business. He's taking on that type of thing. And like something just will happen in them, but I just kept on going. I just kept on doing the healthy thing, kept on doing the work thing, kept on doing my thing, and something happened. And he's been, his attitude has come into my game. So you just have to be you and don't take on the rocks, don't take on that burden. That's my advice.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. I want to ask about period pain. Obviously, this can help with that. So open up your heart and you just kind of focus down and work your way down to your, I don't know.
Yeah.
Say
so
groin,
the castor oil in my cream. So I also make my own my creams. So we make this as a family. So one of the main ingredients in my cream, my lymphatic cream, is castor oil. Castor oil packs are super great for period pain, but just by using the lymphatic cream, and I do have a magnesium spray with MSM as well that is great for pain too. I just had a hysterectomy, girls. So in January, I had no idea I had fibroids the size, my uterus was 10 times the size of normal. I had no idea that I had one fibroid the size of a baby's head. And long story cut short is I did a test that shows you where all your hormones are at. I had to pee on a stick and spit in a jar for a 24-hour period. And they say that fibroids go down when your estrogen levels drop. I got my results back and my estrogen levels were pretty much at zero. My what's the other one that starts with P? It's just gone out of my brain. Progesterone levels were pretty much down to zero. So I am like post-menopausal levels, still functioning the same, still this energy, still whatever. But the estrogen was getting made up of all that fake estrogen, or the xenoestrogens, or the plastics, all of the, and I'm a healthy person. And I had no idea that was the level of, the estrogens were coming from that fake hormones. So doing some testing is, I think, really important to do to find out where you're at. with things. So I'm just trying to, it's called the Dutch test, that complete hormonal panel, is to find out what is going on with your hormones and where those hormones are coming from, in what form. Just we're all into our sportswear and wearing a lot of the sportswear now. The active wear is got a lot of plastics in it, and people don't wear undies like a cotton undie. They still wear their leggings without the cotton undies. So you've got that high absorbency skin, like down there, that is picking up all of that plasticky material. And same with bras. And if your skin like we talked about, the skin is quite delicate on your chest, and you've got that a lot of the time material that's got a lot of plastics in it rubbing on your chest. It's it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of toxic load on the body, isn't it? We'll run these over 2 parts. So if you have got time, I'd just like to ask you a couple of other questions, if that's okay with you and Trace.
Yeah,
I'm really interested about this. It's beautiful, because I do want to touch on what you do in clinic, because I think that will be really interesting for people to hear, and I'm interested as well. So if you could touch, you have somebody come in, I'm imagining, like you said, you have people that are sick because they've hit rock bottom, and maybe people who are probably like me, I am really healthy, but then there's just a lot of past trauma, stress, different things on the body as well. So what do you do in clinic that helps people?
Sure. So we can treat clients with any type of lymphatic issues like lipedema and lymphedema, so the swelling in the body and all of the trapped fat and toxins. We also have weight loss, cellulite. So cellulite is also a chronic health condition. It's all of those trapped toxins that can't get out of your body. We have got energy, people with energy levels, a lot of thyroid issues too. So all of these things are related to a toxic load, inflammation, people who wanting to feel better. So they come into clinic and we ask some questions. We ask, how do you want to feel? Right. So that's really important, because I want to know their why, and I want people to know that they can, if they want to feel more energetic, they want to be able to tie their shoelaces, they want to be able to play with their kids. So like, what do you want to be doing? So we start setting the scene mentally as well as physically, and then we talk about what's stopping you. And then, so that's when the blockages, like, could be time, could be money, could be family, like what motivation, don't know the answers. Like, we talk about those types of things. So what we do in clinic, girls, is, yes, it's a lymphatic treatment, but it's also a lot of education and talk therapy, as well. So we come into clinic, we get you down to your undies. So we just leave your undies on, we take the bra off, you lay on the table face up. We then start by activating your lymphatic, the points, so at your chest, at your belly, and at the top of the legs. And then we follow through with our massage. Now, our therapists are trained to see where the main blockages in your body are, but they will always start at your chest and then move to your area of concern. So they do a massage while you're laying on your back, and then we talk through all the different concerns of what they first filled out on their card, and we just see where the conversation goes. After that, we will use the compression garments. So behind me here, so we've got the set of legs here. So these ones are my Circulate My Own brand here of compression legs, and they have a pump, and we use pneumatic compression. Once we've opened up and done the massage, we then use the pneumatic compression to, if someone's really blocked up in their chest, we will put them on the arms. If they're blocked up in their hips, if they've had lots of pelvic surgery or their tummy, or they need a good liver pump, we will use the shorts. And then, or if they're heavier in the legs, then we will choose the leg compartment and set them up for that for half an hour. Now, it is a gentle rhythmic flow of re-educating the lymphatic system on how we want it to move. Plus, it's working on the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is that fight and flight. We need you to relax, and we find that when people are swaddled, like that womb feeling, when you're held tight, when you feel safe, everything just relaxes throughout the body. So our therapy then includes that half an hour compression, while we then concentrate on the face area and we massage through and do a lymphatic massage. And then we leave the client to rest for about 20 minutes to think about their picture frame, think about how they want to feel, see that lymph flowing up through their body. So that's the initial consultation in our clinic.
Wow. Amazing. So for people that do live in Brisbane, you're at Cleveland, is that right?
We're at Capella
Capella.
as well as Springfield. And I'm excited to announce that we are franchising. So we are going to invite other health professionals who want to add the Chelsey Jean massage and business to their existing business. Or if you want to start one, we are nearly, we've done all of our due diligence and we're nearly at the stage of opening up the doors for Chelsey Jean Lymphatic clinics to be available Australia and worldwide.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Trace, now
Yeah.
Tracey did an online program of yours that people
Yes.
can obviously access. So what is that?
So was that BOOB Camp, Trace?
It was. Yeah, I did BOOB Camp.
Yeah, so BOOB Camp is on once a month. We do 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The Monday at 7:30 on a Monday is where I educate and talk through all of this about the lymphatic system, how it works and how to do the sequence. Night 2 is when we talk about all the other things that you can do, say the hair testing, the circulation, our good gut protocol on how to get rid of, like, test for candida, because candida is what stops everybody from losing weight. So we have to do that as an initial first up, stops everything from working, really. So we talk through the detoxification process of candida, and we talk about stories that we have in clinic. And then day 3 is it's day 3 tonight. So you have to watch it on the replay after listening to the podcast. I've got Dr. Connie Murray in, and she's talking through all the detoxification processes when it comes to your DNA and what can, if you've got different snippets that are turned on and off, and what pathways might not be working, and how to test for that and what we can do for in those cases. So every month I'm here educating and sharing how to, move the lymphatic system and help detoxification. And that's BOOB Camp in our Facebook land.
We'll pop it all into our show notes.
And it was free, just for anyone listening.
Yeah, completely free. We've got a group there. I think we've got 12,000 women in that group. They can ask questions all about, no question's a silly question, all about detoxification. And as you know, speaking today, there is a lot to it. And once you open up the can, a lot of people just want to know more about this, and that's why in clinic, so we offer our lymphatic massages, but we also then have an energy cocoon. We do infrared treatments. There is lots of different treatments that we do in clinic, but we start with that initial, so we can then assess your body and then come up with a plan after that.
Beautiful. That is so amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
I've loved it. I love talking and sharing. And then thank you guys for sharing your story. That enables me to get a little bit personal too, and not just saying the same things all the time. I love getting personal, as well.
Well, we will definitely pop all of your details into our show notes so people can find you. They can join the free BOOB Camp, jump onto your website and check out your products. And if you're in Brisbane, then you're open, and then hopefully not too long in the future, you'll have clinics everywhere. So congratulations. Yeah, yes. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we have people travel to, I've got people traveling from Melbourne, Sydney. They come up and they stay and they do 2 or 3 day treatments. So I think it's time that we We expand. I've been doing this, I was 19, I'm 47 now. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. And then my role will be supporting those businesses to, support their clients the best.
So
Fantastic. God, I hope one opens in Hobart.
Yes, yes. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Thank you so very much. I'm excited, and hopefully our listeners are going to start doing their lymphatic drainage. It'll be really good.
Yeah.
They will. I know they will.
I'm in.
Yes.
I'm gonna come and see you at Springfield. I'll be definitely in.
Please do. Okay, girls, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that is it for the Chelsey Jean Lymphatic podcast, part 2. We hope you have loved this 2-part series. I know we both personally got a whole lot out of it. Even though Tracey had already done the course, she has learned a lot more information than I had. There was still bits and pieces that she picked up throughout this podcast just to help with the rest of our life. Like, why we're not taught this information as little people is beyond me. So all the show notes to this podcast can be found on our website at additive-freelifestyle.com/podcast 190. And if you want the show notes for last week, it's /podcast 189. Something that I would really, really, really love for you to do is hit subscribe on the podcast show that you're listening to this episode on. It might be Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you're listening. If you could hit the subscribe button, that would be great. You'll be notified of future episodes that'll come out. And if you do have time to leave a review, oh my goodness, that would make our day. So thank you so much for your time. We will be back next week with another episode, and we'll talk to you then.